Come on, lady. There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Lunchtime Live. This is Lunchtime Live number 15, and along with my beautiful wife and our two beautiful cats, Moonpie Deja Vu, and of course the lovely Suzanne, I welcome you. This is Wednesday, hump day, middle of the week. Yeah, I'm going to try to get through these shows as much as possible. Again, as I say, I'll probably do this group of four that I do only about twice a week and on different days, different times, whatever. I've moved on from Gorilla streams, I think. Gorilla's still a friend, but and so is Sif Dan, but that's pretty much as far as I can go right now. I got too much else to do, and I got to worry about Suzanne when she gets her knees worked on. Then I got real life to take care of. So I wish for all your support, all your love and prayers, and everything else that's going on in our lives here. I've been very mentally, not spiritually despondent, but I've been mentally despondent. Without going into too much detail, physically I don't feel very well. Most days I get up, I'm in pain, and I got a lot of different ailments. So I am feeling the 60s for sure. Turning 60, and I'm still praying for my brother Larry. I know he's going through a lot of stuff, but he was able to get up there to the Navajo reservation, which was awesome. And the other day, last Friday, and he was able to take his son Tyler, who's never been there, has never seen it, Indian fry bread with honey and powdered sugar and so much good stuff. So I'm a little bit jealous of him, but I'm glad his son got a chance to experience it. It's really great food, Indian fry bread. I don't know if you've ever tried it, but you should if you ever get a chance. If you're in Arizona or in that part of the world. Anyway, so today we've got season 3. As I said, we moved on to the next two pairs of episodes from both Get Smart TOS, the original Star Trek. So we got season 3, episode 13, and episode 14. And then when we're done with these, I really don't have much else planned for this week. Maybe I'll do the occasional, I'll head over to my, brother Jason, over there in Michigan, once in a while with his streams. If I see Jim's got one going, I'll go, maybe hang out there. I don't know. It depends on how I feel. Every day for me is a chore. It's a trial. It's a challenge. But thankfully, I've got my beautiful wife who's with me, going to be with me for the rest of my life till, till death do us part, literally. So yeah. So I've got her, and the girls, Mupai Deja Vu are the most beautiful Persia cats. I love them. They're my daughters, and our daughters, and we love them. And they're just so good to us, they take care of us and everything. So, and they are support pets. I didn't know if you knew that, but they're officially our support pets. So we can take them anywhere with us, and they can get in for free, as our pets, support pets. So yeah. Oh, sorry, just not really all here. I don't think. Just not feeling very well. There's two people I thought had my back. Nope, not anymore. And there's this one kid, this one guy who won't get out of his situation. It's almost like he's expecting death. I don't know. Can't help him. Just hope he gets out of his situation soon. That's all I can say. Okay, well. And then there's no help for Teabag over there in New Jersey. So what a moron. Oh boy. Anyway. Okay, so yeah, let's get to it. And whoever pops in says hello. Usually Captain, which is good. I like it when someone at least comes by, says hello. Like I said, don't matter to me. If I get at least one person and that's it, I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. Let's see. Okay. So, like I said, we're looking at season 3, episode 13, and episode 14 of both series. First of all, we're looking at The Mysterious Dr. T, which premiered on Saturday, December 30th, 1967. And in this episode, after the death of the head control scientist, Max finds that he wasn't the brains behind his discoveries. Okay, and that got an 8.1 out of 10, a B grade from 205 people. Cool. And then episode 14 is The King Lives, and that came out Saturday, January 6th, 1968. Also got an 8.1 out of 10 from 208 people, so that's very cool. So both episodes did get a B grade from me as well. In this second one, Max temporarily takes over for a king that looks exactly like him in a parody of The Prisoner of Zenda. Ah, yes, I remember the well. Yeah, very cool. Okay, so let's look at the Mysterious Dr. T. All right, and this episode was directed by Gary Nelson. The writers were William Rayner, Miles Wilder, and Norman Paul. And of course, it features the usual cast of characters. Don Adams as 86, Barbara Feldon as 99, and Edward Platt as Chief. Okay. And of course, in this episode is Bernie Kopell, who plays Siegfried. Okay. Dr. T was played by Peter Robbins, and that T stood for Dr. Tuttle Dove. So we will look at Peter Robbins. We'll also look at Bill Irwin, who plays Mr. Smith. Okay. Excuse me. All right, so let's take a look first at trivia, as we always do. All right. Peter Robbins, who plays Tyler Tattledove in this episode, was the original child actor selected to perform the voice of Charlie Brown in A Charlie Brown Christmas from 1965. Yes, Charlie Brown Christmas is celebrating this year its 60th anniversary, as old as I am. So I'm as old as Charlie Brown Christmas. How about that? And several of its successors, including the full-length A Boy Named Charlie Brown from 1969. His voice became the standard that producers of later Peanuts animation used when casting child actors for the part, so that there would be as little noticeable change as possible in Charlie Brown's voice. The noise that the little black box makes is the same sound effect used for phasers on Star Trek in 1966. Wow. The Chinese gong, which appears as a prop for the restaurant scene. Oh, I'm sorry. The Chinese gong, which appears as a prop in the restaurant scene, was used just a few weeks earlier by the villain, Dr. Yes. And a character named Dr. T is in the film The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T from 1953 by Dr. Seuss about a boy's nightmare involving his piano teacher. Okay. At 24 minutes into the episode, Dr. T turns to Siegfried and says, "You're a bad, bad man." This is an obvious allusion to Twilight Zone Season 3, Episode 8, It's a Good Life, where Billy Mummy says the same thing to a man and then with his supernatural powers turns him into a jack-in-a-box. Okay, there is one spoiler for this episode. Dr. T said he gave Professor Longnecker ideas for his comic strip. Dr. T was played by Peter Robbins, who has supplied the voice of comic strip character Charlie Brown in various shows such as A Charlie Brown Christmas. Yeah, we did mention that. But anyway, they mentioned it as a spoiler, so I guess it's cool. All right, let's see here. Okay, in this episode, and like I said, I don't do quotes anymore. We don't have any goofs in this, or crazy credits, or soundtrack, so that's cool. And you know that all filming done at both of these shows is done at Paramount Studios, so that's cool. So I don't need to repeat that for the next one. All right, here we go. All right, so let's see the career of Peter Robbins. Let's see the mini bio. Okay. All right, unfortunately, we did lose the actor Peter Robbins back in 2022, so about 3 years ago. He was born The child actor was born on August 10th, 1956, in LA. His mother was an immigrant from Hungary who died from cancer when Peter was 16 years old. He first began acting in various films and television shows in 1963. Robbins has the distinction of being the first person to provide the cute and endearing voice of hapless yet lovable blockhead Charlie Brown in a handful of delightful TV specials that include the holiday classics A Charlie Brown Christmas, 1965, and It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Yeah. So, like I said, born August 10th, 1956, but he did die January 18th, 2022, and he was the age of 65. So he had a pretty good career. He did make a lot of residuals for his Charlie Brown. So, let's see. All right, so let's start with 1966, where he was in Charlie Brown's All Stars. He was in the great, as I just mentioned, it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. And we mentioned Charlie Brown Christmas, A Boy Named Charlie Brown in 1969. He also did Linus's Scream, like, ah, ah. Yeah, he did that too. And then You're in Love, Charlie Brown, with the little red haired girl. How cute. 1967. So, and then The Boy Named Charlie Brown was 1969. So, very, very cool. The last thing he worked in was My Three Sons in 1972. So he did retire early from stage and screen. In this, he played, in one episode, he played Jeffrey Fredericks. And that episode was from season 12, episode 21. It was called The Birth of Arfie, Arfie. Huh, cool. All right, so that is the mini bio of Peter Robbins. Rest in peace, Charlie Brown. All right, next. Okay, so we'll look at Bill Irwin from Mr. Smith. All right, Bill Irwin, who has the look of Albert Einstein. Nice. He was an actor, but also soundtrack, and he worked on additional crew. He was born on December 2nd, 1914, in Honeygrove, Texas. What a nice name for a town. He was an actor known for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles in 1987, with, of course, the late and great John Candy and, of course, Steve Martin. He was Somewhere in Time in 1980, that one with the wonderful Christopher Reeve, and then Home Alone with the Macaulay Culkin from 1990. He was married to Lucy Frances McLaughlin. He died on December 29th, 2010 in Studio City there in LA, and he was 96 years old. Wow. So he had a very good career. He was nominated for one Primetime Emmy, it says as well. Okay. So let's see here. Okay, so in 1980, Somewhere in Time, his role was Arthur Beale, Biehl, is how it's spelled. Let's see, 1987, Planes, Trains, Automobiles, he was the man on the plane in that one. In Home Alone, he was the man in the airport in 90. And in 95, Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. He played a 70-year-old man in that, in that year. He was on the TV series My Name is Earl. He was the old man playing ping pong in 2006. That was his last official role. And in season 2, episode 5, the episode was called Van Hickey. Okay. And just before that, I do also want to mention he was in the Twilight Zone Radio Dramas, a podcast series in 2005. He did a voice of Sam Forstman. And that episode was season 7, episode 10, called 90 Years Without Slumbering. So that means this was a guy who could not sleep. That's so cool. Alrighty. So that was the mini bio of Bill Irwin. Rest in peace. Okay. All right, let's go back down. Can't talk anymore. Okay, so let's go back and look at the next episode called The King Lives. And let's see. Has anybody come in yet? No, not yet. Okay, no problem. All right, so the director of this episode was Gary Nelson. The writers were Gloria Burton and Don Adams. So Don Adams actually wrote this episode. Very cool. And it's, the usual cast of characters. Okay. Now, Johnny Carson, as the Herald, did make a cameo appearance. And we know all about Johnny Carson. Let's see. Then John Duchette was Colonel von Klaus. So we'll look at him. We'll also look at Michael Forrest, who played Basil. And if you recognize Michael Forrest's name, he did play Apollo in Who Mourns for Adonai, or Adonis, whichever way it's pronounced, in Star Trek. I'm sure I'll mention that. Okay, so we'll look at John and we'll look at Michael. Very cool. All right, so let's look at the trivia here. Okay, Max imitates Ronald Colman from the original movie The Prisoner of Zenda, 1937, while posing as the King of Coronia. Don Adams was known for his impression of Coleman in his stand-up act. Johnny Carson makes his second and final appearance on the series, this time as the servant who announces the king's visitors. The scene in the train was filmed in the Varnish car, the same set used on the Wild Wild West. You can see Jim West initials JTW over the door. Traveling by train to the coronation, with Max impersonating King Charles, the chief quizzes him on the king's immediate circle of relations. When the chief asks him who the king's mother was, Max replies Queen Helena of Ruritania. Ruritania is the fictional setting for Anthony Hope's novel The Prisoner of Zenda, 1937, upon which this episode is based, and whose best-known film version, cited here, stars Ronald Colman, whom Don Adams imitates throughout this episode. Okay, there is one spoiler. Don Adams also plays King Charles IX, King of Coronia, in a part lasting about 10 seconds. So he actually has a dual role in this. Very cool. Okay. Alrighty. Once again, there are no goofs, no crazy credits, and no soundtrack on this. And we already know where it's filmed at. Paramount. Right, so let's look at the cast and crew, the two we mentioned here. John Duchette. Hope I'm pronouncing his last name. All right, John Duchette did die in 1994. Not only an actor, but he also worked on soundtrack. One of the movies he worked on in 1976 is called Fighting Mad. All right. Stocky, balding, American character actor with a rich, deep voice, equally adept at Western bad guys and Shakespeare. He began his career in films in minor roles, primarily as gangland henchman, and progressed to become widely familiar as a figure in a variety of dramas and occasional comedies. Although a stalwart and reliable supporting player, he was not of a type to essay leading roles in films, but remained a well-respected actor whose face, if not name, is familiar to a generation of film and television fans. Okay, so he was born January 21st, 1921, and he did die August 16th, 1994, the age of 73. So good career for this man. Okay, as I mentioned the one movie before, the other four he's known for is starting in I like to go in order sometimes if I can. Okay. In 1963, he was in the movie Cleopatra alongside, Richard Burton and, of course, oh boy, that's terrible. Okay, well, okay. Anyway, I know she's one that married several people and everything. So, anyway, he plays Achilles in that in 1963. 1964, he was in The Seven Faces of Dr. Lau, where he plays Lucas. In 1969, he did appear with John Wayne in True Grit, where he plays the sheriff. And in 1970, he appeared alongside, George C. Scott in Patton, in the original Patton. He played Major General Lucian K. Truscott, 1970. Yes, very cool. All right, and let's see. Let's take a look at this real quick. I'm sorry. Yeah, Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. My mistake. And Rex Harrison. There we go. So, yes. Okay. And according to this, the last IMDb background information, the last thing he did appear in 1987, he was Janelle's man in a movie called Off the Mark. Cool. So that was the mini bio of John Duchette. Rest in peace. All right. And for Get Smart here, the last person we'll look at, of course, is Michael Forrest, who played Basil. All right. So Michael Forrest was an actor, also additional crew, and he worked on sound department. There was a movie in 2003 called Replay he worked on. He is still alive. He was born April 17th, 1929, and according to IMDb, he is the ripe old age of 96. 96 years old. Wow. He is 6'3", and he weighing in a lean, mean 215 pounds. Michael Forrest was a rugged-looking addition to the Roger Corman and Gene Corman's list of leading men during their 1950s heyday. Between the Corman films, he was a stage actor who worked in Shakespearean plays and other legitimate productions as classy as his real name, which was Gerald Michael Charlevoix. Nice. Born in Harvey, North Dakota, he moved with his family at a very early age to Seattle, Washington. He attended the University of Washington for a year, so he was a Husky, and then made his way south to stardom down there in Hollywood. Okay. And let's see. In 1976, he worked on a movie called The Message, where he played Khalid. In 1986, he worked in King Kong Lives as Vance. Very cool. In 1993, he worked in a movie called Ninja Scroll, where he played the Shogunate envoy. Well, he did a voice, English version. And he did appear as Pilot Jack in the movie that featured Wilson, the volleyball, and Tom Hanks in Castaway in 2000. Okay. The last thing he's worked on so far that I can see, he appeared as himself in a movie called Unbelievable in 2020. All right, let's take a look at his appearance there again in the Wayback Machine. Wow, he has an impressive resume. He has done so much stuff. I just wanted to remind everybody when he was in Star Trek. Let's see here, 66. Should be close. There it is. All right. Yes. So who mourns for Adonai or Adon? Yeah, that's what it is. Who mourns for Adonai? Season 2, episode 2, which we covered back in the day, back in many weeks ago as Apollo. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful episode. Yes, and and he one more mention. He was in Gilligan's Island, and he played Ugundi, and in 1967, it was season 3, episode 26, called Slave Girl. Very nice. So, 96-year-old Michael Forrest, so cool. Well, appreciate you, Michael. You did a lot for Hollywood. I'm glad that he's finally been able to retire. All right. All right. So let's talk about next week for Get Smart. We're going to be looking at episodes 15 and 16. So let me write this down for myself. TS and TOS. There we go. There. I circled it so I know for next time. Okay, so all right. So the next episode is called The Groovy Guru. And then I think that's the one that has Larry Storch as thrill, 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 kill, 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 make the scene, knock off the dean. Yeah, that one. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, we'll talk about Larry Storch next time. And we'll also look at Barry Newman, who plays the assistant guru. So, yeah, that'll be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool for next time. So, The Groovy Guru is episode 15. And then episode 16 is The Little Black Book, part 1. So, yeah. So, we'll do those two. Very cool for next time. All right, let's get to TOS, the original Star Trek series. And of course, as I said, episodes 13, 14 for that today. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Yeah, by the way, I don't know if you remember, but I did mention that Get Smart Overall, over its 5-year period, did receive 7 Primetime Emmys, and Star Trek, of course, received 1. So, very cool. All right, so let's see here. Okay. Now, I have a theory about the city on the edge of forever, and I'll float that by Captain the next time I see him with Jay and them, or with Jim, whichever show I do next time. I'm not expecting a lot, but Okay, so episode 13 is called Elan of Troyes, and this premiered Friday, December 20th, 1968. And while transporting an arrogant, demanding princess for a political marriage, Captain Kirk must cope both with her biochemical ability to force him to love her, as well as sabotage on his ship. This did receive a straight-up C, and so I have to agree, 7.0 out of 10, from over 3,500 people. Yeah, I do agree with that. Also, in episode 14, which is Whom Gods Destroy, Kirk and Spock are taken prisoners by a former starship captain named Garth of Azar, who now resides at and has taken over a high security asylum for the criminally insane. And that was a 6.9 out of 10, which raises it to a C. So, yes, I agree, C on both of those. That aired first on Friday, January 3rd, 1969, as they took off 2 weeks between episodes, for Christmas time. So, and all this time, I am 4 years old watching this. 4 years old on a big, black and white TV. But later on, when the show went into syndication, just soon after they started doing the animated series, that's when I started to see these more in color. I thought it was great then. So, yeah, good stuff. All right, so let's take a look at Elan of Troyes first. Okay, this episode was directed by John Meredith Lucas, and the writer Arthur H. Sinner joined Lucas in the writing of the episode. Okay, and I know the two people I want to take a look at. I want to look at France Nguyen, who played Elan, and I do want to look at Jay Robinson, who plays Petrie. Sounds like a Petri dish, but it's Petrie. That's what I was going to say. Anyway, so we'll look at those two actor and actress. Okay. Now remember in Star Trek, this Star Trek, I don't do any goofs anymore because I figured people know Star Trek by now. They know where the mistakes are, and I don't do the quotes. So the only thing I do take a look at is like the first 5 major things about trivia, and then if there is any crazy credits or soundtrack, I do look at that. And of course, you all know that most of these episodes, unless they're done outdoors, are filmed at stages 31 and 32 of Paramount Pictures. So I don't need to mention that again. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the trivia. Okay, Francais Nguyen is believed to be the first person of Vietnamese descent to appear on American television. Presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated or made unalive during the filming of this episode. Francais Nguyen, a huge supporter of Kennedy, had been deeply shocked by the news while shooting her role as Dolman Ilan. The story includes elements of both Homer's Iliad, which is Helen of Troy, represented as Ilan of Troyes, and William Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew and the battle between the clever, rational male and the unreasonable temper tantrum throwing female. When the camera slowly tilts up Ilan's skimpily clad body, bikini bottom and top, in the transporter, her belly button is covered as per the 1951 Code of Practices for Television Broadcasters, which prohibited female naval exposure. However, by the fall of 1966, this guideline was no longer being enforced. While it's true, costumes on Star Trek often obscured women's navels, the network did not require it, contrary to a popular myth. In Mirror Mirrors episode from 1967, both Nyota Uhura's and Marlena Moreau's navels were often seen, and the first time this happened was in Shore Leave in 1966. The red armor of the Elysian Guards' costumes was constructed from a popular 1960s table placemat made of tiny plastic discs embedded in a plastic sheet. Red. Red.
That's your phone.
I know. Hold on. I'm just skin it down. There we go. I hate interruptions like that. Okay, so this is the same as the red stand-up collar worn by Galt in the Gamesters of Triskelion in 1968. Okay. And spoiler, the sound effect heard as Crichton sabotages the dilithium crystal assembly is the same one heard in Arena in 1967 when the Metron speaks. Okay. All right. And there's no it just says the theme music by Alexander Courage. So Lily must have been off that day. Anyway. All right, let's see. Yes, just making sure. And the filming dates for this episode were from June 3rd, 1968 to June 10th, 1968. So they did it for a whole week. That's cool. All right. First of all, then let's look at Francais Nguyen. Yeah, she looked great in that dress. Okay. And happily, Francais Nguyen, the actress, is still alive today. She was born July 31st, 1939. So she is, if I do my math right, 86 years old. Wow, cool. She was born in Marseille, Boucher de Rhône in France. She's, yeah, let me say that again. Marseille, Boucher de Rhône, France. Yes. She was known for Battle for the Planet of the Apes in 1973, South Pacific way back in 1958, and the Joy Luck Club in 1993. She was previously married to Robert Culp and Dr. Thomas Gasper Morel. Cool. And let's see. Going back. Okay, so besides the Star Trek episode she's known for, in South Pacific, she played Liat, Liat, in 1958 in that musical. It's a great musical, by the way, South Pacific. 1973, she was Alma in Battle for the Planet of the Apes. And in 1993, in the Joy Luck Club, she was the mother. She also played Yang Yang in that movie. According to the IMDb background, the last thing she performed in was Dr. Pierce in a movie called The American Standards in 2008. And when The Outer Limits made its TV reboot and came back in the late 90s, in 1999, She appeared in one episode where she was Madame Li Yu, and that was season 5, episode 11, called Ripper. Oh, nice. Alrighty. So, that is the mini bio on France Nguyen. That is so cool. I'm glad that she's still alive. All right. Now we'll look at Jay Robinson, who played her assistant Petrie. And unfortunately, Petrie's dead. He died in 2013. Actor, he was in a movie about Roman era called Demetrius and the Gladiators from 1954 as one of his appearances. Character actor Jay Robinson owned a pair of the narrowest, cruelest looking eyes in 1950s Hollywood. To complement them was an evil looking sneer, crisp and biting diction, and a nefarious sounding cackle. These were all draped upon a lean body physique. A lean bony, I'm sorry, not body. I misread that. Okay, let's try this again. These were all draped upon a lean, bony physique that could slither about menacingly like a ready-to-pounce cobra. With that in mind, he made an auspicious film debut as Caligula in The Robe in 1953, stealing much of the proceedings from the movie's actual stars, Richard Burton, Gene Simmons, and Victor Bono. Yeah. He was born April 14th, 1930, and unfortunately we did lose him September 27th, 2013. He was 83 years old. And in 1953, as I said, in The Robe, he was Caligula. In 1954, in Demetrius and the Gladiators, again, he played Caligula. And, of course, the one episode is Petrie here in Star Trek. And in 1992, he came back in the movie Dracula as Mr. Hawkins. That is cool. And I do want to look at the one thing he did, because I know it was Dr. Shrinker, and I was trying to go back because I recognized him immediately. So I need to go back to the Wayback Machine. Okay. Oh, yes, and he was in Buck Rogers in the 25th Century in the TV series there in 1979. He played Cassius Thorne in season 1, episode 8, called Planet of the Amazon Women. That was cool. Yeah. And, yeah, here he is. Okay, and in the Croft Super Show, which was also part of H&R Puffin stuff, he appeared in 16 episodes of Dr. Shrinker, as Dr. Shrinker, of course, shrinking the kids and everything. And he did that from during the year of 1976. And let's see, I just want to look at his final episode. Just want to look at that. Yeah, that was just a one season episode or one season show. But I just want to look at. Okay, so the last thing he appeared in as Dr. Shrinker was episode 16, which was called The Little Prince. So that's very cool. Awesome. Yeah, that was the last thing he did. Oh, yes. He also appeared in The Waltons. I should mention this for Gorilla. He was Professor Thaxton for 3 episodes in that from 75 to 76. In season 4, episode 6, he was Professor Thaxton in The Breakdown. And then in 75, season 4, episode 22 and 76, The House. And then on season 5, episode 3, The Comeback in 1976. That's Professor Thaxton. So he appeared in that for 3 episodes. Yeah, and that was just before he did Dr. Shrinker, around the same time. That is so cool. But unfortunately, we did lose him. So rest in peace there, Jay Robinson. All right. Okay, now we're going to look at the next episode, episode 14, which, let's see here. Whom Gods Destroy. And of course, we'll look at the guy who played Garth, Captain Garth. All right, so the director is Herb Wallerstein, and the writers were Lee Irwin, Jerry Soule, and Arthur H. Singer. And usual cast of characters. Okay, so Steve Inett was Garth. We'll look at him. And of course, we'll look at my wife's relative back then, who also played Batgirl in season 3, of the awesome Batman TV series, Yvonne Craig as Marta. So we will look at both of them. All right. So let's go ahead and look at the trivia first. All right. The plot of inmates taking over the asylum and impersonating the warden closely resembles Dagger of the Mind from '66, right down to the agony chair prop, which is reused from that episode. In his memoir, I Am Not Spock, Leonard Nimoy shares a memo that he wrote to the producers to complain about the similarities. Gar's costume is that of Galactic High Commissioner Ferris from the Galileo 7 episode from '67. The asylum planet's name is based upon an actual historical place. Elba II is named after the Mediterranean island off the coast of Italy, where the French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte was briefly exiled to in 1814. Napoleon succeeded in escaping from there in 1815, and he was restored to power in France, but was later defeated at Waterloo. He then spent the remaining 6 years of his life on the remote South Atlantic island of St. Helena. Captain Garth in this story was characterized as another Napoleon. The remote control for the facility's force fields is a repainted and redecorated phaser prop. Steve Inat, who plays Garth, unexpectedly died of a heart attack, aged only 37, in 1972 on his wife's 30th birthday. Well, now you know how he died. We get to that part. Okay, Leonard Nimoy. There's a couple of spoilers here, looks like. Wow, lots of spoilers. Well, all right. Well, I'll see if I can go through these real quick. Okay. Leonard Nimoy complained to the producers that the story's climax was unbelievable, that Spock would have had no difficulty identifying the real James Kirk. Spock is a close friend of the captain and could have easily posed questions that only the real Kirk could have answered properly. This is the only episode where Spock performs a simultaneous double Vulcan nerve pinch on two distinct alien species. Footage of the Enterprise firing phasers down to the surface of a planet is reused from Who Mourns for Adonai in '67. This is the second of 4 times in which a shapeshifter imitated Captain Kirk. It previously happened in The Man Trap in '66 and would happen again in The Survivor, in '73, and later still in the film Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country in '91, which Grace Jones did as the shapeshifter. Kirk tells Spock a metaphor about King Solomon. Earlier, Garth had discussed Alexander the Great. In Requiem for Methuselah in '69, Kirk and Spock meet Mr. Flint, an immortal man who claims both Solomon and Alexander among his many past identities. James Doohan's right hand and missing middle finger can be briefly seen. When the sensors on the Enterprise detect the explosion on the planet's surface that kills Marta, Scotty leans over the right shoulder of Sulu to look at the panel before them, and he moves his hand into view. Marta is a rare and perhaps unique example in TOS of a woman knocked out by Spock's neck pinch. One strong theme put in the script on purpose by the writers and missed by many people for decades, which means the issue of copying or plagiarism, on purpose or not. These include the plot's strong similarity to Dagger of the Mind, Garth's ability to morph anyone, and the least observed example, Marta's recitations. The first poem that Marta recites and claims that she wrote is Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. A heated exchange between Garth and Marta ensues. However, Marta soon recites another poem she wrote. This time, it's the first stanza of A.E. Housman's 19, which is in Midnights in November. None of the characters few viewers noticed. Each example, except for the last, can provoke negative responses. TV viewers who notice the similarity between the two episodes might be annoyed. Garth's ability to morph and the damage it can incur is an obvious danger to others. Marta's reciting Shakespeare to Garth and claiming it as her own angers him. Marta's cribbing from Houseman, the least conspicuous plagiarism, went largely noticed for a long time. Okay. Let's see. All right. And of course, the soundtrack and Lily G. Norman came back to sing. Very cool. And Alexander Courage. Okay, and let's see. All right, nothing done filming outside, but this episode was done during October of 1968, is what I have on that information. All right, so here are the last two people we're going to look at today. Wonderful actors. Okay, Steve Inett. So, all right, Steve was born August 7th, 1934. He died May 12th, 1972. As we said, he died of a massive heart attack only at the age of 37. And before he died, one of his best roles was a military man in one of James Coburn's Flint movies, In Like Flint, in 1967. And he was born in Jastrzębie, Czechoslovakia. Now it's called Jastrzębie pri Mikolovsios, Slovak Republic. Actor and writer, he's known for Countdown in 67, The Honkers in 72. As I said, he's known for In Like Flint and Do Not Throw Cushions into the Ring in 70. And he was married to Sally Carter Inett. And he died in Caen, Alpes Maritimes, France. Maritimes. Okay. So, let's see here. In the Do Not Throw Cushions in the Ring, he was Christopher Belton in that. In Countdown, he was Ross Doolan. Doolan, yeah, there it is, in 67. And in The Honkers, he was a writer. He wrote that story in 72. Okay, and let's go look at In Like Flint here real quick so we can tell you what role he played in that. Let's see here. In 67. Come on now, help me out here. There we go. He played Major Carter in that, in Like Flint, in 67. Okay, cool. So the brief career of Steve Inett. That's kind of sad. All right, so now let's go look at our final actress, Miss Yvonne Craig. My wife's relation on her father's side. She did pass away in 2015. She was an actress, producer, and soundtrack. Of course, she also appeared in one of the Flint movies with James Coburn. She played a ballerina in that. She also was in Ballet Russes in 2005. Okay, Yvonne Joyce Craig was born in Taylorville, Illinois, May 16th, 1937. As a young teenager, Yvonne showed such promise as a dancer that she was accepted to Denham's Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo. Her training progressed until she left the company in 1957 over a disagreement on casting changes. She moved to Los Angeles, hoping to continue her dancing, but was soon cast in movies. At first, Yvonne had small roles in movies such as Gidget in 59 and The Gene Krupa Story in 1959. And after that, her film career just bumped up ahead. She died August 17, 2015 at 78. Okay, so as I said, she played in a TV short, Batgirl and Barbara Gordon both in 67. And she was Marta, of course, in this episode. One Spy Too Many in 66. She played Maud Waverly. And, of course, she was Natasha the ballerina in Like Flint in 67. And let's see. And, of course, like I said, she did the... I want to see how many episodes she did there in Batman. Okay. So it says she appeared as both Barbara Gordon and, of course, her alternate superheroine Batgirl for 26 episodes from 67 to 68. Her final episode as Batgirl came out season 3, episode 26, and that was the one which had the wonderful Zsa Zsa Gabor in it. called Minerva, Mayhem, and Millionaires. Very cool. So that was her last appearance in that. She also appeared in the Mod Squad, It Takes a Thief, Ghost and Mrs. Muir. Yeah, she did a lot of great appearances. Courtship of Eddie's Father. But she was great in that. Okay, Emergency. Yeah. Starsky and Hutch, the $6 million Man. Well, I wonder what she did in that one. Let me see. Lena Bannister in season 4, episode 17, called The Infiltrators. I'll have to look for that in 77. Cool. All right. Ooh, and Fantasy Island. Nice. Let's look at that. Oh, season 6, episode 21, Remember When? She played Cindy in that in 1983. So cool. I mean, Yvonne Craig. What a beautiful young lady, and I'm glad she was a relative of my wife. So, very cool. Yeah. And last thing she worked on, she was in 30 episodes from 2009 to 2011 of the TV series Olivia, where she plays the grandma. That is so cool. That's so cute. Well, rest in peace, Miss Craig. Miss Yvonne Craig. Okay. All right. Well, we are done for today. All right. So we'll look at Let That Be Your Last Battlefield, which of course featured the great Frank Gorshin and Sal Mineo. We'll take a look at that next time. Or I'm sorry, Lou Antonio. I give that back. Sorry. Lou Antonio and Frank Gorshin. Yes, we'll look at that next time. Episode 15. And then episode 16, The Mark of Gideon. That would be nice too. All right. And since we've been finishing here, we've got 4 people watching. Sniff. Hello, Anchor Cornholio 75 or Scott. Welcome, Scott. Welcome. And Lizzie Armstrong, one of our best friends from and our sister from Australia. Hi, Susanna, Mikey, and Cats. And Lizzie says it's 5:55 a.m. here. Good morning, good evening. Welcome to you, Lizzie, and to you, Scott. And good afternoon. Yes, that too. And Lizzie says, hi, Scott. Yeah, it's good to see you both. I'm so glad both of you came in. Thank you so much. Okay. So like I said, we'll as I already mentioned all the episodes, so episode 15 and episode 16 of season 3 of both Get Smart and TOS will be premiering next week sometime. And then we'll also do episodes 17 and 18 later on that week. So we're going to try to do these at least twice a week to try to finish both series. Well, at least to finish TOS so we can get to the rest of Get Smart. And I'm not going to do very many live streams after this. I don't think really anymore much. I'm just going to do a lot of these webcams so I can get them done. I may appear on others' live streams, but I don't think for my own our show here. It's just it's hard to find people. Next year maybe we might have a few more openings and we'll be able to do stuff. But for now, I just want to be able to finish these series. That's all I want to really do. But I do want to thank Sabrina and Sean, or excuse me, Sabrina and Seth for allowing me on their Hill Jack Happy Hour last night. And I got to see my best friend Rex there as well. And I got to hang with Dia. She was a very nice person. And got to subscribe to her last night. And I saw Tremors. Tremors. He's nope.com. Nope. Yep. But Tremors. Very cool. So thank you, Seth. Thank you, Sabrina, for a wonderful show last night. That was great. We had 3 hours plus. It was fantastic. I like doing those occasional live streams where I know that you'll be wanted, you'll be accepted, you can talk to one another in a nice, calm, considerate manner. Yeah. So I love shows like that. And the shows I do with Jim and that I do with Brother Jason, are both great shows as well. Yeah. So I love it. And the ones I used to do with Gorilla and Siftan. Yeah, that tells you, right? Okay, so I want to thank Scott, Anchorman, for coming in. Thank you, Scott. And I want to thank Miss Lizzie for coming by and saying hello to us. I appreciate you both. We do have one other person still watching, so very cool. We got three. That is awesome. Uh, so I just want to say, let's go quickly. Like I say, uh, Suzanne always says, leave everything in God's hands. Larry, of course, from Beers of Adventures, my brother of 50 plus years, says always be yourself. And of course, uh, brother Matt, who helped me out in my meme, saying, remember, you'll never know where you'll hear or see me next. So make sure you've got the like button on. Make sure you hit subscribe. Don't forget, of course, to all notifications with this bell. Don't forget that. And of course, don't forget to share uh, this channel with other people in the community so that we can gather up a few more wonderful subscribers to make also family members to our show. We do have about 33 of them, I believe, right now for ChattyBloggerMS. So we're trying to get some more. And all prayers to both, we'll dedicate this to the people that have come to see us, Lizzie and Mr. Scott. So, Lizzie and Scott, hope your families enjoy wonderful times. I do have plans for Scott and Lizzie for next year. We've got some things planned. As I said, we're going to do, um, you know, I'm not going to say it yet because I want to put it as part of the big reveal on January 1st of this year or next year, I'm sorry, 2026. So when we get to that, I'll be able to announce to you who I want specifically on my panels that are absolutely, members of the community and have been with us for a while, and on certain things that we're going to be doing. And I may not be able to be available most of that time next year because, as I said, beautiful Suzanne here has to go through her knee surgeries. And her first one is on her right knee and then her left knee. And then she's probably going to have some surgery done. Maybe, hopefully not, but on her shoulder, her right shoulder is not really good either. And then, of course, I got to get my paperwork done. I got to get I've been waiting for so long and I'm really tired of it. I got to get my American passport renewed. I've got to get my new Canadian passport, and I got to get a brand new Canadian ID. I don't need a driver's license. I already have that till I'm 65 that I can use in the United States. But for now, I don't have to drive anywhere here in the GTA, Greater Toronto area. So, yeah. So all I need is just an ID for that. So, well, mwah. Kisses to you there, Lizzie, our sister. Thank you so much there in Queensland, Australia, for being here. And again, great to see you, Scott. Always good to see you. Um, you're a wonderful man. And yeah, man, you really are. You and Elijah are great guys, and love you guys, and like brothers. You're very cool to us. Okay, so God bless America. God bless Canada. God bless the UK, Europe, and the rest of this world. And Lisa Hogan, I hope our wonderful travel with Lisa MH and you and your wonderful uh, new boyfriend, hidden jackpots. I hope we get to meet both of you soon. Maybe the four of us can do a nice lunch, a nice dinner sometime. Please let us know. Keep in touch with me there, Lisa, through Facebook, and let me know what you know when you guys plan on doing something. And if you'd like to have us along, that'd be great. We'd love to see you guys again. Cool. Very awesome. Okay. Remember, we just have the one earth. Remember, you can be the future guardians and stewards that can help your future generations of kids and others enjoy the wonderful scenery, the wonderful landmarks. And of course, let's hope we can keep this world fragilely, if not fully, but fragilely peaceful. We just don't want the wars and death and anything to go on anymore. So we will have to do our best to keep it all together and hope that we're all doing well. Okay. So, peace from Mikey Seuss 4, and of course, our beautiful cats, Moonpie and Deja Vu. Yes, many people, one planet. Amen to that, sister. Lots of people. Lots of people, yes. Um, And of course, like I said, on behalf of Suzanne, my beautiful wife forever, and our beautiful cats, Deja Vu and Moonpie, we love you all. You're all wonderful people. It's you folks are right out there, the ones that run, that talk to us in the chat. You're the ones that help us keep these shows going, that help me and Suzanne keep this channel going. This is our last attempt. This is our last channel. We have two other channels out there, Warlord Fade and Mikey Sus 4, which unfortunately are now pretty much inactive. They still have good content on both of those channels. So if you get a chance to ever see them, please go check them out. This one, ChattyBloggerMS, I've tried to put out some very good content. I've also tried, I posted a playlist, just one, which is my wife's special playlist she had that she put together. And I also put in some liked videos. I think we're just over 2,600 of those right now. So, yeah, very good. Hello, Kevin, brother Kevin from Kevin's Theme Park Adventures. Hey, Mikey. Hello, Kevin. Welcome for popping in, my friend. And Kevin says, hey, Lizzie, to Lizzie Armstrong. And yeah, cool. I'm so glad you came in, Kevin. So we say a lot of blessings for you and your family. And I'm gonna get there, Kevin. I'm gonna get there to try to go see your 70th anniversary of Disneyland. I'm gonna try to get a chance to go see those. I've been very busy lately, sir, and I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying I just haven't felt very well in the last few weeks. A couple friends that I thought had our backs are gone. I won't talk to them ever again. I'll just ignore them. I won't say who they are, but they're just not good people. And and there's other things going on. So it's crazy. It's crazy. I had a good stream last night, though. Hilljack Happy Hour every 2 weeks. Check it out. Tokume LLC is his name. He's a great guy. And we had our friend there last night, Leanna, who is the wife of our brother Jay down there. Brother Jay down there in Bastrop, Louisiana. So she was talking. We were having fun. We were getting along. It was great. We just loved it. Loved it. And hi there, Kevin from Lizzie. And of course, waving. Hello, Kevin. Yeah. And hey, Lizzie. Yeah. And hey, Mikey. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. So, Kevin, Scott, Lizzie, thank you all for being here. You're awesome people. We love you. We pray for you guys and all your families and everything every day, 24/7. And well, I'm done. So we'll see you all next week. As I said, we'll work on episode 15 and 16 of season 3 from both Get Smart and TOS. So until then, remember, be safe out there. Be loving. Watch over all of your family. Try to visit them this year for the holidays. You never, ever know what comes around the bend. The next day, someone could pass away. The next day, somebody could have there's a lot of things that could happen. So, my advice, and from Susanna's too, is please enjoy and embrace your family this year at the holiday time. Do that. It is the most important thing because we have no idea what's around the corner, and we're all hoping it's not terrible. That's what we always hope for. So, and you are welcome. Oh, thank you, Lizzie. Thank you, Lizzie. You're great. Okay. So take care, everybody. And remember, we'll see you next time on ChattyBloggerMS, which stands for Mikey Sus. Take care then, folks. And God bless.